My friends, I hope you're doing fantastic. I welcome you to this recording where I want to talk about a fascinating topic: how to be an expat. For some of you, and probably many of you, things are a bit crazy out there. Whether that's at work, maybe you go through some changes, it could be your personal relationships where you see that things actually are not as optimal as they could be. And you might be a bit prone to be negative, prone to be unhappy with how things are. And you're thinking, okay, what do I do? How do I deal with change? How do I deal with obstacles? And let's be honest here. It's not so different than it was probably 20, 30 years ago. But obviously, one thing and one denominator that has changed is technology. Technology has advanced immensely. We really see that the fact that people actually are trying to expand their businesses through the power of software or AI and all these different things, or chat gpt, and it's fascinating to see that. But what is even more fascinating is things like being an expat, moving around, traveling around. It's on the top of things, or if you will, it's a daily business, right? So you have what's happening in the market, what's happening with our families, with what's happening with our friendships. This is kind of the core. But then really you go out and you know that everything around is shifting and moving, and being an expat is one thing that is a huge topic for many of us, myself included. I have lived in three different countries, really had to learn as an Eastern European what it means to live in the West and how to kind of grasp the whole notion of, hey, I need to actually think a bit differently. As Eastern Europeans, we tend to be a bit more conservative. So for me, I had to learn these different skills and different facets of responsibilities and different things that actually would give me the advantage to build business, scale, and get a bit better at handling really the international sense and navigation of different kind of personalities and navigating how I actually position myself. So I want to give you today a little simple thing which I tend to use a lot in my life, and you might quite like it. You might quite like it. It's kind of five different personality trends, and maybe even there are some trends in it as well. We will get to that in a second, but it's really about what characteristics you possess if you're moving abroad, because moving abroad itself brings with it myriad of different challenges, from learning the language, the whole administration, getting around different people with different cultural background, figuring out who you are as yourself. Because the first thing what you're probably going to notice, you will want to fall back on your default system, because you will be constantly feeling like you are under pressure, under fire. You need to adjust, you need to learn to deal with different things. And if you are like myself, moved around a lot, perhaps even within one country. Remember, in one country, I moved around probably about 8 times, and it was quite challenging, because already that brings with it a lot of different things. You need to move, you need to organize, you need to X, Y, Z, right? But also just the whole notion of fear and just moving brings with it, as I said, this uncertainty, anxiety sometimes even. So these are kind of the few things I want to give you today. Let's call them kind of five traits that will help you actually to position yourself a bit better when you are as an expat in whatever country you're living. This is kind of the universal thing that will help you. The thing is, you want, if you are an expat, if you're moving to a new country, you want to really go out of your comfort zone, and you already do that. You're gonna be like, Matteo, I'm already out of my comfort zone. I'm moving. I need to find a job. I need to pay my studies. I need to do all of that. And you're absolutely right. You're already stretching yourself, probably more than 80% of people. However, you and your role as an expat is to fit in. Your role as an expat is to have the bird's eye overview and say, okay, I see this is the language, this is the culture, these are the rules, these are kind of the non-negotiables that I need to get familiar with. And more importantly, you don't want to just build and be part of the culture. You want to really have this long-term vision, how what it means for you to be an expat. For me, I really didn't want to bring only my heritage with me and try to pound everybody head and say, hey, you have to be like this, because who am I to tell people how they have to be? So first thing you need to learn as an expat is empathy. And perhaps I would combine it as a little added bonus, being humble. One thing that I really learned abroad is how to deal with myself, how to navigate the myriad of different situations which required getting adjusted, getting familiar with the law, getting familiar with the job situation, with the education, and all these different things, and then commuting, and then what do it obviously first, like in every city, if you move to a first city, I give this example a lot. When I moved to the Netherlands, I lost the track of or the sense of navigation in the first week because all the buildings looked alike to me, and I thought, wow, how am I ever gonna find the the path here to where I need to go? Eventually, I started understanding, okay, well, this street is like this roof is a little bit different, this flower is a bit different. So I started orienting myself a bit better. So you will find your way. You will find your way how to do that a bit better over time. So, first thing, really, what will help you is being empathetic to yourself first, because there will be a lot of pressure to adjust, to make it, to be there, to sustain yourself. But also, if you position yourself and come at it from a place of ego and trying to prove that you are the best, and ego is on one side very good because it's the survival mechanism we all have built in, and we need that. We need to be protected, we need to be safe. But on the other hand, if you let it run free, things will not you will not position yourself as a best, as an authentic person, as a humble, empathetic type of human being. So I would also encourage you to be empathetic towards others, because you will come across different cultures, different people with different colors, different backgrounds, and you will tend to judge it in a way, saying, hey, I think things should be like this, you should be like that. But again, think back to what I said at the start. Who are you even to say something about another culture when you're adjusting yourself? You can be a listener, you can be an empathizer, but not a judge. That's not your role. The second thing, how you actually gonna little bit accustom better to the culture, is being an optimist. Being an internal optimist is something that I had to train myself in. It took me years to not to see things negatively, because there will be again a lot of challenges that will come at you from the law, from the responsibilities, from the job, from the pressure that you will be carrying with you as a human being, because you will want to adjust, you will want to make it, you will want to try, and you will not want to come back and say, okay, well, I that was a waste of my time. So if you build this optimism, you will also see that everything that comes at you will be a challenge, will be a tryout, will be a reason and a cause to be challenged and to be overcome. And this will help you actually to become better yourself, build a stronger character, and be a better human being. The third one I want you to be is a coach. One thing that really helped me a lot moving through different countries is being my own coach. Always trying to reflect where I'm at. Where am I going? What am I learning? What am I missing actually? And that means also talking to different people, to gaining different perspective. There is this thin line between, hey, I want to be there and I'm this human being and I'm learning, I'm kind of absorbing all these things, but also what is the external perspective? What are the other people talking, and what are they telling to each other about myself. So gaining this insights and this external feedback will give you amazing advantage. It will be hard because you will have to balance the ego with I want to learn, I'm a learner, I'm a listener, I want to improve. So sometimes you will get a lot of criticism, a lot of feedback where people say you are like this, you're like that. I wish you would be more like that. So sometimes you will need to let it in, let it out, but at another time you will integrate it into your human character and your heart, your soul, and you will become better through that. Another thing I want to really emphasize here as a point number four is being a pacekeeper, or pacekeeper for yourself as well, to keep the pace of where you want to go, but being a peacekeeper especially. So one thing that will happen as you start getting accustomed to the culture, you will start building friends, you will start building momentum, you will start getting better at understanding the nuances of behaviors and between different cultures, and you will also start attracting these people because you are the optimist, you're coaching yourself a little bit, you are the empathizer, you are humble and really positive optimist. But when you add to this really understanding how you are, and how others are, you will start also creating this aura of tranquility, being there. Perhaps you can be still high energy, you can be really out there and being fun and playful and outgoing, but being a peacekeeper, and when you see tension rise up and you just step in and you say, guys, come on, what is our goal here? You will have to think bigger, not just about yourself. You will have to think about the group. You will have to think about where you want to go. And this requires an additional force, additional thoughts to say, okay, I want people to feel like this, and I want the group to feel like that. So you understand there is this little notion between me and us, and this is what will actually help you to adjust tremendously and make really good friends abroad. And the last point I want to give you guys is really, and this is probably the, if you think about Maslow pyramid, right, with all the basic needs all the way to self-actualization, on the bottom here, for what I want to tell you is everything I told you today is really being a self-believer. One thing that helped me abroad to get where I am today, to being and interrogating all these things and doing them along the way all the years in different phases, a little bit more this, in other phase a little bit more that, is being a self-believer. I come from a sports background, grew up on a farm where I had to work hard, wake up early, and from a town when I was bullied. We all have our stories. We all are special in our own way, but also in our own way, we have to believe. We have to find this personal motivation and this personal really energy that will carry us through these tough times. So one thing that will really make the difference for you, anything than anything else, is really personal belief that you can do it, you can make it, you can find a way, you can figure things out. And this is fascinating. So to sum this up for you, or perhaps you should sum it back to me. So really starting going abroad is not easy. Let's be honest. Living abroad is a blessing and sometimes it can be a curse. But overall, it gives you amazing superpower when you decide to see everything through the lens of, I'm an empathetic empathizer. I really empathize with other cultures, other human beings. I'm a self-believer. I'm an optimist. I'm a coach. I'm a peacekeeper. You start to visualize these things and integrate them, but also you start to lie them out and really share them and shine this positivity with other human beings. So, guys, briefly, quickly, remember, you are as strong as you make it. Living abroad is a challenge, but it is more blessing than a curse. When you decide to learn more about yourself, this is probably the best investment you can do in the entire life. Do something that actually brings you and others around you amazing results. So stay awesome, stay legendary, and until the next time, see you around.